From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Monday night. It's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine, powered by cleveland.com. Lots to talk about tonight. I was going to say the Browns inched closer to the playoffs, but they really didn't because they stayed exactly where they were. But we want to talk about them. Ohio State, Dabo Swinney. I'm wearing this in Ohio State shirt, sweater, or whatever it is, in honor of Dabo Swinney tonight. Bud Shaw is with us. Bud, explain to me why a coach at a major college level who's had great success would go out of his way to kind of stick it to the guy who's number two or number three in the country, and they're going to play each other. Why in the world? What is he thinking?
Yeah, Les, I was going to say that jersey there, or pullover, whatever you're going to call it, is, I think, the 11th best show attire I've ever seen you wear.
I have 11 of these jerseys, and we're going
to. It's way down the list. Listen, if people don't know the story, Dabo Swinney has come out and ranked the Buckeyes 11th in his final coaches poll. That means he's put them behind Iowa State, which has lost 3 times, Florida, which has lost 3 times, Coastal Carolina, which, as we know, had a good showing against BYU, but I don't think anyone would bet Coastal Carolina to beat Ohio State. Cincinnati, 9-0, having a terrific year. You could make a case for Cincinnati should have gotten, consideration for the playoff this year. But that doesn't mean that you then punish Ohio State for only playing 6 times by ranking them number 11. Of all the coaches in that poll, no one ranked them lower than 6, and only a couple ranked them lower than 4th.
I was thinking maybe Dabo and the Coastal Carolina coaches are friends, but even so, that doesn't make him be put in the best light either.
Well, I guess if you want to say you give him credit for wearing his beliefs on his sleeve, because he said early on he thought that playing games was important, that if you didn't play enough games, you didn't deserve to be in the playoff this year. So he's backing that up, but I think he's backing it up in an illogical way. If you only saw Tiger Woods play 6 tournaments over the course of 2019, would you have bet against him at the Masters, or would you rank him with the 11th best chances of winning the Masters? If you did, you would have been dead wrong, as he proved. So you can see the talent Ohio State has. Have they had some hiccups? Sure. Only beating Indiana by a touchdown probably doesn't look real impressive. Part of that game against Northwestern did not look real impressive. But I don't think anybody doubts that they're a really good team, and now they're a really good team with a lot of motivation. Yeah. Even more than they had going in.
Is the coaches poll tied in with anything with contracts with certain coaches? For example, would somebody who's ranked 8th at the end of the season, regular season, get a bonus that he wouldn't get if he ranked 11th, for example?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's that would be a smart way for ADs to put a contract in place. But our buddy Doug LeMaurice, points out in a column he wrote on this topic that, the coaches poll is notoriously a bad poll because these guys don't see you talk about tunnel vision. These guys don't see other teams play. They're always playing themselves, and they always have film to watch of the next opponent the next time. Unless the team is in their conference or on their schedule, they really don't see them, and half the time the SID votes for them because they don't want to be bothered. So
in basketball, I know in basketball the assistant coaches do most of the work on that.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of credibility to begin with, so I doubt that an AD would put that in any coaching contract. But hey, it works out for Ohio State. Not that they would have any trouble getting up to play Clemson. But certainly it's been a strange season with a lot of challenges because of the coronavirus. And I think if you went 6-0 and you beat the teams that you were allowed to play and beat them most of them pretty handily, it shouldn't be held against you that you didn't get a chance to play, Illinois, Maryland, and Michigan. Does Dabo think they would have stumbled? They would have stumbled against those 3 teams?
I'd like to ask now, but which team do you think would have beaten Ohio State if they had the opportunity?
Yeah, that would have been my question too.
Yeah. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can also email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Speaking of Doug Maurice, he will be here on Wednesday, and tomorrow or Thursday. Doug Maurice will be here Thursday, but that's the third time in the practicing that I've messed it up tonight.
That's been a
But he'll
tough
be
year for everybody.
as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, he'll be here on Thursday. Mary Kay Cabot will be here tomorrow. The D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here on Wednesday. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, let's talk Cleveland Browns football. I just had a horrible thought on the way. I was going to say on the way to the studio. You know, which is over here. By the way. My way to the studio is this little room with a door here. This would be the most only in Cleveland story ever if somehow the Jets beat the Browns and then the Browns don't beat Pittsburgh. Wouldn't this be amongst the worst things that could have happened? So should we just not talk about it, just in
Yeah,
case?
I think it's safe to talk about this kind of stuff now because I think this team has moved beyond that. And I really believe that. I mean, they haven't lost 2 games in a row this season. I think that's significant. Certainly, they've played games without their best defensive player. They're playing games now with their best defensive player looking like he's still trying to recover from COVID. They've lost Odell Beckham. They haven't let anything derail them, and I don't see the Jets as being the team that could possibly do that. I know they're coming off a win, the only win of the season. But I really believe that, this is a team that will go into the Pittsburgh game with 11 wins, and then we'll see whether that game means anything to Pittsburgh at all.
It just seems to me when you have a record like this in a 16-game season, that you're just supposed to walk into the playoffs. You're not supposed to have it play all the way down to the end.
Yeah, I know. I think the thing that would be the ultimate Cleveland experience would be, them going 12-4, getting the home field, and then not being able to play in front of more than 12,000 fans after waiting 17 years to get there.
Right. 216-575-0403. I'm watching Colt McCoy. And look at the difference between Colt McCoy and Baker Mayfield. But when you watch Baker Mayfield, he was throwing balls that I'm saying, no, don't throw that one. And all of a sudden he's got it right in the gut of a guy who was open by about a foot. I mean, he was unbelievable last night.
Yeah, I think he's clearly continuing to progress, and I think he's in a really great rhythm right now. He knows what he wants to do with the ball. I think he likes the play calls. He likes the receivers that he's throwing to. He trusts them. He knows where they're going to be. I haven't seen him play with this kind of confidence. I wouldn't put his rookie year in that category. I think his rookie year, he was just playing on talent and adrenaline, and
yeah.
And he came into those games and showed what he could be. And now this is really what he is.
Let's take a look. Brian put together the last 3 games, and you got 2 more regular season games coming. So let's take a look at what Baker has done in those last 3 games, getting ready to this point of the season. There you go. Last 3 games, 80 completions and 112 attempts, 71.4% of completions, and this is unbelievable. He almost had 300 last night. In those 3 games, last 3 games, 8 touchdowns and 1 interception. It's pretty good numbers there.
Yeah, and I think I saw a stat today that included the last 4 games, which made it 10 touchdowns and 1 interception, and 1,200 yards passing. So we know that he's really feeling it right now. And the Giants came into that with a secondary missing a really good corner. If you are not a defense that can get after him, you're really going to pay the price. And I think Baltimore and Pittsburgh are those types of defenses that can still get after him and harass him. And that's the only way right now I could see a team slowing down this offense, because this offense has got so many weapons right now, including, 2 tight ends that anybody would be happy to be throwing to.
I don't, I think it was Tony Dungy who said it, and not that he needs me to back him up. When you get in a game like that, you cannot fake field goals. You cannot go for it early in the game. You got to, if you're a bad team, you got to get on the board and let the other team chase you. I think he did the Browns, and that wasn't the play caller on that one. That was the head coach calling that, and that's just terrible. That's just terrible management of the game.
Yeah, and you got to remember that this was not a Giants team that was in Jacksonville's status or the Jets' status, that was had absolutely nothing left to play for. So why not just empty out the playbook? And
they needed to win.
The bag of tricks. They needed to win, and I was following, as I do often when I'm watching games. I try to follow what the Twitter conversation is too. And I'm glad you pointed out what you did, because so many Browns fans that want to stick it to Freddie Kitchens were jumping all over that, saying, "Oh, this is the kind of thing that Freddie did when he was here." That's not a call that the offensive coordinator makes. That's a head coach call. And I was frankly shocked to see that they did that early on. You needed to put points up early. You needed to keep it as close as you could for as long as you could. And then you hope that, somebody deflects a ball if goes into the wrong hands if you're the Giants, and you find a way to win in the fourth quarter. But you don't go into a game with Colt McCoy thinking that you're going to be able to match Baker Mayfield and the Browns offense, point for point.
216-575-0403, Bud Shaw with us. Tomorrow night, it'll be Mary Kay Cabot. Then we'll have Doug Maurice, followed by the D-Man Dennis Manilow. Let's take a break. We'll come on back. I'd like to hear from you at 216-575-0403. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. The Browns have a better record at 10-4 than they have after 14 games at any time since their return in 1999. In fact, the last time the Browns were 10-4 was 1994 under Bill Belichick. Those 94 Browns are also the last Browns team to win a playoff game. Speaking of playoffs, the Browns took another step in that direction, but are no means a lock to be in the postseason just yet. Kevin Stefanski's team did exactly what they should have done against the Giants team with their backup quarterback getting the start. They dominated the game. The Browns had the football for nearly 34 minutes compared to just 26 for the Giants and piled up nearly 400 yards of offense. They had two 95-yard touchdown drives, including one in the fourth quarter that ate up more than 8 minutes of the clock.
Those were some big drives for us, and we needed them. When you ever go that length of the field, you're likely making a play on third or fourth down. So I feel like our guys did a nice job of understanding the plan, knowing situationally what we were doing. Baker made plays with his feet on third down, which is always, adds an element to our attack. So anytime you can get a long drive, it's good because it chews up the clock and puts points on the board.
The Giants were geared to shut down the run. The Browns ran the ball 30 times, averaging 3.5 yards. So Baker Mayfield, he was very good again. He went 27 of 32 for nearly 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, just dissected the Giants' defense. Defensively, safeties Carl Joseph and Sheldrick Redwine led the team in tackles and helped bottle up the Giants' run game. The defense came up with 2 fourth-down stops, and the Giants never found the end zone. It was a team the Browns should beat, and they did. Up next, the New York Jets, who won their first game of the year against a playoff-caliber team in the LA Rams. That should be a warning sign for the Browns. In the NFL, anything can happen.
Good job by Dave Bacon with the bacon bits. But in this day and how you measure things in the NFL, there's so many stats that are out there. And I think the one that I'm going to remember is, and there have been, the way the Browns have played, they've had some unbelievable situations and statistics that have come through. But that one where they had 2 drives of 95 yards or more is almost unheard of.
Yeah, and those they made those drives look easy, Les. I mean, no drive of that length is. But they got out of the shadow of their own goal line within 1 or 2 plays each time. It seemed like when other offenses have been pinned down there or make a mistake, fumble a ball, somebody gets sacked in the end zone, there never seemed to be any doubt that they were going to get away from harm, get out of harm's way, and not only do that, but move the ball significantly down the field. So I thought it was one of their more impressive games this year. And obviously Tennessee was the most impressive, but this way it was just methodical, and we just haven't seen that for a whole game from them, where you just were never in doubt of whether they were going to win.
Usually if you get the ball inside your 20 and you got 90 yards or whatever it is, you're hoping to get to your own 20-yard line and then boot it out of there and tee it up again after that. But they went on the offense when that happened. Let's go to Concord. I would guess that would mean Devin is standing by. Hello, Devin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
Everything
Devin, how are you, man?
Good. Hey, Les, I like the shirt or the pullover. That's nice.
You got 11-4 between now and 11 games or days.
Yeah. Bud, you're going. What are you going? Fireside chat on us, or Mr. Rogers a little bit on that one?
Yeah, I got. I had patches on my elbows here, but I took them off for your sake.
Hey, Devin, the wardrobe budget has gone down since the situation around here.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, I'm just glad the lights are on. Right? Actually, we had power off for like 36 hours over here during that storm.
Is that right?
Yeah, that makes you appreciate good old First Energy.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you don't have power? Do you watch television by candlelight?
No, it was unbelievable. I mean, we were going to get a hotel room, It was to that point, yeah. But just don't open your fridge and let everything get ruined. Thank God it was cold out, so we were able to put stuff in the garage. But
Yeah.
anyway, hey, how come I'm waiting? Not you guys, but how come no one's talking about? You remember there was all the talk that Stefanski was going to have an analytics guy with a direct line to his headset during game day.
Yeah, I do remember that story.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no complaints about that anymore.
No, there aren't. It's a very, very good call. You know, I think what we're seeing with Stefanski is not only, really good game management, but also clock management. And when he knows that he's in the part of the field where he's likely going to go for it on fourth down, he doesn't mind running it on third down, which is a smart thing to do. Whereas before we would see coaches throw the ball and then decide either, we can't go for it now on fourth, or we can't, not think of it as a complete package of plays in that part of the field. And I think we see him doing it all the time. And I think he does have some analytics people informing him, and it's not the worst thing in the world the way we made it sound, some of us in the media.
I've been saying for years, if a team's down two scores, there's no rule that says you got to score the touchdown first, then the field goal. And I've been complaining why coaches don't just, as soon as they get into field goal territory, if they're down 10 or 11, just go for the kick at that time. Somebody did that on Sunday, and it looks so strange, but that's exactly the play that should happen. And I would assume that NFL coaches know to do that, but they don't seem to.
Yeah, Carolina did that.
Right.
Yeah, they kicked the field goal first. Yeah. But, Stefanski, and Les, I'm sorry, but looks like he kept you out of a job with time management again. He seems to have a clue on this one.
He does.
Wasn't that your proposed job every year?
Every year. And I had several chances with certain coaches who gave me 3 or 4 opportunities per season.
I know. But he's 2 plays ahead. So you're right, Bud. Like on 3rd and 6, he runs it knowing he'll probably be 4th and 2, and he's ready to go for it on 4th and 2.
Yeah, and then he has the option of running it again if he wants to. He doesn't put himself in those situations where the defense knows he has to throw the ball all the time. It's even does that early in games. He's throwing the ball early and running it later in games.
But do you think
I just think can't say enough about the way he's handled the team.
Do you think the Giants pulled out all the stops here because they thought they had no chance to beat Cleveland straight up? In other words, with the phony formations and setting up one way and then coming out and punting the ball or whatever. In his estimation, and by the way, I think that's kind of ironic that he played on the same Little League team as Stefanski. But do you think that that finally a coach has put the Browns in the elite group of teams that you have to do stupid things?
Well, certainly some teams would be smart to put them there, and I think they're playing another one coming up this week. But I think as you see the weight class get evened out, and they're playing Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Kansas City and Tennessee and Indianapolis, I think you'll see less of that. You'll see them go more to their basic offense, and the Browns too will do the same. The Browns, every once in a while they'll do something kind of creative, but for the most part, they really haven't. He hasn't. I've always looked at those as like the Josh Cribbs Wildcat thing. I always looked at that as just a true sign of weakness in the offense, because you felt like you had to do something. You had to come up with a gimmick. This team doesn't have to at all, and they still don't have Beckham.
And if necessary, can do it.
Yeah, can. But,
yeah, and that coach, like you guys talked earlier, I mean, you have to take the points. I mean, especially when you have a guy like Colt McCoy who is,
right.
I mean, God love the guy. He's been in the league 11 years, and, it's all good. But, I mean, he just will not put the ball down the field. He takes the safe, easy, underneath completion to keep it, Other than those first couple of drives, you have to go down there, and you have to put something on the board.
Right. Hey, it's about time we're talking about bad plays by other coaches. All right, Devin, we got to go. Great to talk to you as always. Merry Christmas.
Hey, guys, you guys have happy holidays over there.
Take care, Devin.
Let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Birthdays for today, Walter Hagen. But give me a brief synopsis on Walter.
Really good.
Really good? That's brief.
How's that?
Joe Paterno turned out not really good. Buckeyes, 1947. Dave Kingman, home run or strikeout. Mark Ingram. Mike Clevenger, who is injured and will miss the year now with the Padres. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. The Brown situation is interesting. Do you think that when they bring up almost every time that the Browns haven't done this since this year, or it's been this many years since they did this year, do you think the players have any clue or even care about that, or just are concerned about getting their paycheck on the 15th and 30th?
Yeah, no, I think they're concerned about more than that. They're concerned about, building, a championship team, building camaraderie, being involved in the community. I know also all those sound like corny things, but I really do believe that these guys are coming together as a group that knows it's going to be good for quite a few years. And I know it sounds so ridiculous to say that after all the last 20 years. But I don't think they care much about the past, and I don't think they should. I think they may, if they were in a different situation with fans in the stands, signs, everything, they might get more of a feel for how much people have suffered here from a football standpoint.
Yeah.
But because they haven't, because they don't see those people on a daily basis, or even didn't see them in training camp, I think it's kind of been this, full speed ahead thing and not thinking much about what's happened here in the past.
Although I've heard from several sources, I guess you'd call them, of people who are in awe when they walk down the hallways in Berea and Jim Brown walks by. I mean, everybody knows Jim Brown.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think there are some, everybody knows who Jim Brown is, and they know the legacy. Maybe to a lesser extent, they remember what Bernie Kosar made happen here in the 80s, but all the suffering part of it, the boy, are they going to screw up and not make the playoffs the way all the other teams have here? I don't think any of that even enters into their thing.
Yeah, let's take a look at the playoff situation. We've been talking about it all night. Of course, the Steelers in the second place there. They've got Cincinnati tonight on Monday Night Football. You got the Chiefs leading it all, and Mahomes is unbelievable. You got the Bills, who played a big game yesterday. They're in fourth place. The Titans in fourth, or in third place rather. The Titans in fourth, and it goes on and on. The Browns leading the number one team as far as the wild card is concerned, but that could change at I don't know, about 1:15 on Sunday afternoon. And there you have it.
That list is really interesting, Les, because it makes me like kind of rank the teams that, if I were a Browns fan, I would be most concerned about running into. And obviously, I think the Chiefs are number one there. Number two, I might still put the Ravens there, believe it or not. And I know it doesn't sound crazy because they've lost twice to them, but I just think that's a tough matchup for the Cleveland Browns. And third, I think ahead of the Steelers, I think I would put the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you don't hear much about Buffalo because every year they're, New England is winning in that division, and you don't hear much about them, but they're a pretty good football team. And they have the same, even though they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, they still have the same type of legacy that the Browns have of not winning them. And
so Josh Allen, I think, is playing. They have a quarterback that's playing. I think if you pick the 2 guys in the league right now, I mean, again, we keep Mahomes out of this conversation, but I think if you pick the 2 quarterbacks in the league right now that are playing the best, it might be those 2 guys, or at least in the AFC.
Is Baker Mayfield the Pro Bowler this year?
I don't think he is because of the sort of the start that he got off to. Not that it was a terrible start. It just wasn't, it wasn't very impressive. I think we're probably going to talk at some point tonight about who should be the Browns MVP. And I think early on, you probably wouldn't even have picked Baker as the MVP when they were running the ball as effectively as they were with Nick Chubb. And Myles Garrett was doing what he was doing pre-COVID. So I don't know that translates into a Pro Bowl season for him, but I certainly think that he's playing like a top 5 quarterback right now. And I'm not predicting that's where he'll be his whole career, but I think right now he's there.
Let's take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. Mike Massetta standing by, and you at 216-575-0403. More Sports and Les Levine continues, and it's brought to you by our friends at cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is 1 text, but you cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. you're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
How about this date in sports history? In 1981, Cincinnati defeats Bradley in 7 overtimes, the longest basketball game in NCAA history. How about that one? 216-575-0403. They played that game on a floor. Butter, are you aware of that?
Was it just a regular, like, wood floor?
No. Wow, it was nature stone.
Wow.
Mike
I didn't know that.
Mike, how'd we do on that one?
Good segue.
That's the best one so far, Les. Every time it gets better.
That's not saying much.
Doing right?
You're doing well. Somebody told me that you have now moved yourself into position to have one of the most, I think he said the top 15 or 20 advertising phrases in the history of Cleveland television. Anybody ever mention that to you? Most recognizable?
The 15 or 20, what was that? Advertising phrases?
Advertising phrases in Cleveland television that's recognizable.
Well,
that's pretty good.
I consider that an honor, but no, I have not heard that.
Well, you heard it now. Now you heard it now. And Dabo Sweeney thinks you're number 11.
Dabo Sweeney better watch out because Ohio State's going to take number 2 away from them.
Oh. That's what somebody
11.
said.
Who thinks they're 11? That's Roman numerals is 2.
That's what somebody said. This will be a really huge upset if Ohio State wins, right? The number 11 team beating the number 2 team.
Yeah.
I know, that'd be huge.
And Dabo Sweeney would think a number 11 team shouldn't qualify to even be there. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mike, what your response to last night? Where I thought it was an interesting game on a lot of levels last night because with the so few penalties, that it was over before it started.
The first half for sure seemed like it just went extremely fast. Certainly, it without the penalties, it cuts down on the time. I thought the Browns played well enough to win. I didn't understand what Judge was doing, not kicking those field goals, because if he kicks those field goals, that's a 13-9 game at halftime, and that's a totally different second half. But I still think the Browns would have come away with the victory. But early in the game like that, as close as they were, and is I guess as far as they were from the first downs, they were a few yards away. It wasn't like inches or anything. Yeah. And they were in the red zone. Kick the field goal, get the points, and let's go. I didn't understand that.
Mike is basically telling you at the beginning of the game that you're going to be lucky if you stay in this game. I think.
Yeah, it seemed to me like he was giving the Browns an awful lot of credit for offense, and they were going to put up, a ton of points. And hey, that's great if that's the reputation that the Browns are getting. I love it, man. I thought Baker looked good. I thought that the running game did what it had to do when it had to. They didn't put up gaudy numbers, but it was good enough. And the Giants are a team that they started slow, but they came on a little bit late. I think they're 4-1 in their last 5, and have a chance to win that league still. So they were playing for something, and they were in the Meadowlands. So they were away, and they were able. And that's the first time that I can remember. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because you know more than I do. But that's the first time I can remember that the Browns have won either a Sunday night or a Monday night football game in that I can recall since they came back.
Wow,
I think that's right.
I hadn't thought of that. I know back when in the Hoyer year, before the season got turned over to Manziel, I believe that was a Thursday night in Cincinnati when they had the really good game down there, and Dion or whoever was saying pay the man about Hoyer. I think that was a Thursday night, but I don't know about Sunday and Monday. I think you might have a point there. Yeah.
Mike, are you concerned? You got the Jets, who somehow snuck out a win yesterday, and you got the Jets then Pittsburgh. But Does it concern you that if they lose to the Jets, that isn't a real good sign for the Browns?
I think if anybody loses to the Jets, it's not a real good sign for that team. So, I mean, they're a bad team. But, yeah, I mean, if they lose to the Jets heading into the Pittsburgh game and closing out the season like that, yes, that would be a concern. But I don't see that happening. I think they'll take care of business. I'm hoping that the Steelers lose one of these next two games so that there's some meaning on that last game against the Steelers, and the Steelers will have to play their starters in that game. I'd like to see, a straight up, two teams at full strength kind of battle. But, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, that's certainly possible. They have, I think they've got Indianapolis coming in after the Bengals. So Indianapolis is playing pretty well right now.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this, but the two not rain out games, but the storm games that they had might have helped them win a game like this one last night, because Baker had no problem at all gripping that football, and he did a remarkable job when they had to play in the torrential rain. And I think you talk about having to play a certain way in the AFC North. I think that's what happened here, and they played it.
Oh yeah, no, and then they played those. I think it was 3 games in a row that they played with that bad weather, and in all 3 of those games. They got a little bit better at playing in those types of conditions, and certainly I'm sure that experience of dealing with that helped Baker. But he just looks real comfortable. He's not moving around as much as he used to with his feet. He kind of gets set, finds a guy, makes a throw. If he does move around, it's getting out of the pocket. He's not real jittery with his footwork in there. He just looks good. And I thought. They brought in that third-string lineman, Harris. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I mean, he was excellent. Yeah,
he's going to have to do it again this week. All right, quickly, Ohio State and the Browns. Does Ohio State play on the second game? Do they get by Dabo Swinney on Sunday, on New Year's Eve or New Year's night?
Oh, it's a great question. Les, I'm going to be honest with you. I have not seen Fields play well in big games yet. He does really well against the mid-level to lower-end competition. But man, when the game's a big game, you're talking last year against Clemson, last year's Big Ten championship, this year against Indiana, which was their biggest game, this year against Northwestern. He has not played well, and if he does not play well, if he has the same type of game, they will not win that game. Clemson is just way too good for that to happen. They need Fields to be the Justin Fields that we see 95% of the time.
But how about you, Ohio State?
Hopefully he can do that for himself. He needs to do that also for his professional career as well.
Right.
I think. We talked about the Dabo Swinney comments, and will it motivate Ohio State beyond normal motivation? Absolutely. How long will that last? When you're going up against a great quarterback and a really gifted, talented, athletic team, it's hard to imagine that motivation carrying them to a win. I would not pick them to beat Clemson.
Mike, you moved up to the top 8 advertising slogans, and that, of course, would be, it's not a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There you go.
I'll jump into the top 11, I hope. I'll be the next Ohio State, like that was sweet.
Hey, have a great holiday, Mike, and thanks for everything.
Hey, you got it, guys. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and look forward to next week with you guys.
You too, Mike.
Mike Masetta from Nature's Stone. Let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Bud Shaw with us tonight, Mary Kay Cabot tomorrow. It'll be Doug Lesmerises coming up on Thursday, on Wednesday rather, and no, hold on, stop, time out. Dennis Maniloff on Wednesday, and Lesmerises will be here on Thursday. How do we do that time?
I think you got it right that time.
Did it better, thank you. Bud Shaw, that's Bud Shaw tonight, right?
Yes, unless I have a couple of NFL news items to share.
Go ahead, and then we're going to go to Darius and Willoughby.
One is that Josh Gordon is now on the Seattle Seahawks 53-man roster.
Wow.
So that falls into the category of, oh, here we go again. So
everybody gets
sure, everyone gets 9 tries. So the other thing is that Kevin Green, the great Steelers pass rusher and Carolina Panthers and LA Rams, right, was in all 3 places, I believe, has passed away at age 58, Hall of Famer. So,
all right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Darius. Darius is in Willoughby. Hi, Darius.
Hey, how's everything going, Les?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. I'm very happy that the Browns won. I mean, you can't base your happiness off the Browns, but, you know, it just makes things a little extra sweet on the Mondays after a Browns victory.
No question. Doesn't happen very often.
This season is it's a tiny bit different. It's a change of pace for Browns fans.
For sure.
Yeah. So what do you think happens? Number one, do they make the postseason? And number two, do they win a game to keep moving on?
Oh, gosh. I wasn't even thinking playoffs at the beginning of the year. When Stefanski comes in and he, with no off-season, no OTAs, no training camp, nothing, not even a preseason, and, you know, they cleared the Browns to do, like, full pads practices like a few weeks before the season started. I really think that we could go – if we win next week's game, I think that we're a lock for the playoffs. And, see, that's different about if we win a game, because most likely if we get into the playoffs, or I'd like to be hopeful and say when we get into the playoffs, we're either playing the winner of the AFC South or the number 1 seed, depending on where we land in the standings. So
I'll tell you what,
if
Darius,
we're playing the Colts,
I think they can.
go ahead.
I think they can beat any team they have to beat except Kansas City. I think any other team, I'll take the chances.
I think that we do have a good chance because our ground game is built to last in the playoffs. Even though Baker Mayfield is starting to show some improvements, I think that we're a run-first team, and that's really what matters when it gets really cold.
All right, Darius, great to talk to you. Happy holiday to you and your family. We appreciate you following the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a nice day, Les.
What's that?
Have a nice day, Les.
All right.
He's just saying goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Yep.
How many times do you have to say goodbye to a guy? And I said, I think they did the prerequisite amount. I think I used a word that doesn't belong in that sentence, but it doesn't. I got thrown off completely. You can't say goodbye. I'm like Larry David. You can't say goodbye 7 times. You just say goodbye and that's it.
Yeah, it's like trying to throw an old trash can away. Just can't be done.
Can't be
Put
done.
it out on the tree lawn. It's still there the next day.
Speaking of that, Mr. Gullible wouldn't allow me to yell at him the other day. He did a great move. I started getting on him for something he did, and he just stopped. He never stopped talking. So I told him it was like the interview, Jeremy Schaap, when he interviewed Bob Knight, and there was 1 hour to do it. Knight just filibustered for an hour, so Schaap could not get the proper sentences in. But
basically reminded him that he wasn't his father.
Basically. And also what reminded me about that with the Mr. Gullible is he keeps sending me 2 quickies. One is funny, but it can't be used. Maybe the last night of More Sports and Less Levine will use it. I'll keep it on hand. And he keeps trying to get it in. And I keep telling him he can't, he's not allowed to do it. And he knows better. He thinks that he's going to catch me on a bad night, which there are a lot more of them lately than before, which is
so it's not that it's a bad strategy on his part. It just hasn't worked yet.
I'm giving away how to beat me at this game. just hang in there. Eventually, I'll blow it. But Mr. Gullible, if you have that quickie, you know I'm not going to allow Brian to press that button. And if I allow Brian to press that button, we're going to have to train a new person back there in the button control room. My goodness. But it was funny. It was funny. If I could only remember what it was.
Is it the same one every week?
Yeah, pretty much.
Keeps not getting in?
Yeah. He's not getting it. Not getting it. And Brian's trying to tell me secrets in my ear and I can't hear him. Brian, go ahead. Take a break when I can, which is right now. More Sports and Less Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot joins us from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. Wednesday, it'll be Doug Maurice. No, It'll be Dennis Maniloff, then Doug Maurice will be here on Thursday. All right, Bud is with us. Bud, do you have a ranking pencil here? It'll be number 11, whatever it is. You got it? Now, Mr. Gullible did not. Mr. Gullible got apparently waylaid on the way to the to watch the show, and he has not turned in a good one or a bad one or a usable one or a non-usable one. But
so
Steve,
do we have any? We do have some.
Yeah, we got Steve from Tallahassee.
Okay. And how many? How many do we have?
This is all we're allowing on tonight.
Okay.
How come when the strike zone expanded in a late inning, Mike Masetta yelled at the umpire, "Wow, that's not your zone. It's Nature Stone." I had to add that in there. Steve in Tallahassee. It's not your zone.
I'll give him like a couple of points for originality, but it wasn't one that rolled off the tongue. I'll say that.
No, and you didn't see it coming because I read it.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. It was okay.
It was okay.
It was, yeah.
It's in his. I think he hasn't had more than 10 entries, so I think the first 10 you kind of let them learn how to do it, get the feel for it.
It's still spring training for him.
Still spring training.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Terry Pluto had a column today about Terry Francona and what is his need to keep managing. So I'll ask you, without having that interview as Terry did, what do you think is the reason that Terry keeps coming back? Terry Francona keeps coming back.
I did not read the column, so I don't know the context exactly. I just think it's something that he's been doing his whole life, and he knows that probably from watching guys retire, give up playing careers, and knowing a lot of friends in the industry who have stepped away for various reasons, have probably really wanted to come back. And I think missing some time in the dugout probably reinforced that for him. That last year that it's something that he doesn't want to do without, and maybe there will come a time when he does, but he doesn't feel like he's anywhere close to that. And listen, I wouldn't want to go out after a year like that either. I'll say that. I would want to get back and have a full season, and feel like I got a chance to have a normal baseball season and compete for a title and have the run of the season happen, not this truncated. There it is, Les.
Good word.
Kind of late in the show to drop the word.
No, you got it in. You got it in plenty of time. I just wonder, he's going to have, at least on paper, at the break of spring training, if there is one, on paper he'll have the worst team since he's been here, I believe, assuming Francisco Lindor is traded. So it makes you wonder, while all the things you're saying about that are correct, he still wants to compete. And I think he's got to look at even his own division and say, I don't think we can compete here.
Well, I mean, just think about where he came from. He left a big market team that was spending a tremendous amount of money, more than the Indians were. And he came here probably not thinking that he would be in the World Series every year, but thinking he was going to be surrounded by guys in the organization that he wanted to work with. And he wanted to get away from that madness that he was involved with in Boston. So I think all those things are still here. He still likes this group of people he works for. I think he still likes ownership. And I think maybe the percentage chance of winning a World Series isn't his motivating factor.
I'm going to say just one thing. You mentioned ownership, and I'll make this quick. With the change of the name of the team and all that, a lot of things are being said, and a lot of things being said correctly and incorrectly. But one national newspaper sort of put Paul Dolan in the same group as George Preston Marshall, Tom Yawkey, Daniel Snyder, a couple other people like that. And I think that's totally unfair. I don't want to get into a long discussion about it. You can say anything you want. You can say, well, Dolan is running the organization on the cheap, if you want to say that. But you can't put him in the same category of some of those other guys when you're talking about naming teams and what you're saying about them and players that you hire. I just think that's blatantly wrong on the part of those periodicals or whatever you want to call them media members who are writing like that. If anybody's writing like that, they don't know anything about Paul Dolan.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. And I'll say this: for however many years, and I don't know whether it's a dozen or what it is, they've been the best run organization in town by far. So how does that reflect poorly on an owner? I don't understand that.
No, I don't either.
If you want to take them to task for not spending more, okay, I can get behind that. But to suggest that it's an organization run as poorly as some of the ownership groups that you just mentioned is just silliness.
All right, thanks to Bud Shaw. Bud, happy holidays to you and Susan. Thanks for another great year with me, and we hope to continue.
Yeah, thank you, Les. Let's keep showing up until they tell us not to.
Until Mr. Gullible's at the door saying you can't come in. That'll do it for us. Brian, great job as always. I'll see you tomorrow night, and I'll see you with Mary Kay Cabot. That'll be tomorrow night. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.